up is that I use my hands and I don't talk in my work. And how do I translate that into Twitter and Facebook? I mean, because I do have an issue with like self-promotion.
So there's the 90-10 rule, and the idea is that 90% of what you put out into the Twitter sphere is of value to your audience. So where you're concerned, I'm curious about what kinds of thoughts you have when you work on your clientele. Like, what could they do for stress relief, or what could they do differently so that they don't encounter some of the same issues over and over again? Or, you know, what about your experience with clients do you think would be valuable to a broader audience? You know, you have conversations with those people,
Right.
at least at the end. You know, here's what you encountered, here's what you discovered, here's what you'd recommend, whatever. I think that is valuable information, and you're not tuning. It'd also be good for you to just listen, like see who the spot is listening to, like who's in that community, and who are your fellow professionals listening to, and who do you think is interesting in that space. Point of vulnerability, which I think appeals to people, it makes you human. It's humor, which people love and need. It's not self-promotion. You know, it reminds people that we all struggle with some of the same things.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to look a little foolish, you know, because that's real.
Right.
And I think that when you try too hard on Twitter, people they see that. They see that you're trying too hard. So do you know that Twitter is a website? And
I did not know that.
Okay, so this is Twitter, and it is essentially a website. Now, I use an application called TweetDeck to monitor Twitter, and my followers, the people that I follow, I interact via TweetDeck. But I think just going to the website is very easy and convenient.
And that's a good thing to bring up, because when we were talking to you guys, you thought Twitter was only for cell phones, right?
I don't have an iPhone.
It's just, it's a website. There is a website,
Mm-hmm.
and this is my view of Twitter, so this is my backdrop, which is the Geek Girls Guide. And you see right here, I'm following this many people, I have this many followers, and now there's a new feature on Twitter that I don't think you should even worry about right now, but it's called Lists, so I can actually group the people that I follow into a list, and then other people can follow that list. But I would say table that for now, and we'll talk about it later. So I have a hard time with people who have whole lengthy conversations on Twitter, and some of my friends do, where, you know, somebody says something and they respond, and there's a back and forth, and I sort of feel like that's what you should bring to DM. Like, Twitter is about short bursts of conversation and real engagement, but I don't think it's an instant direct messaging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can message you directly on Twitter, and only you see it. But I can also talk to you in the sort of public forum just by using your handle, and we can have a conversation back and forth in front of everybody. You know, you kind of have to set your boundaries around how those conversations happen. And at some point, my feeling is, have lunch. You know, it's like, and we tell people all the time, we say it on our blog all the time, these kinds of interactions, you know, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, is not instead of, it's an addition to that human interaction. So
bio is really important because that's what, and I would say I don't have a picture of you, believe it or not, I have not been stalking you since the Solar Exchange, so I have no pictures of you on my machine. But when you get home, I would suggest that you upload your own picture, and here's why. There's abuse in these social networks like there is anywhere. So there are people taking advantage of the connections that they have access to here and spamming the crap out of people with Twitter accounts. So the more real you represent yourself, you know, the more real you are in your bio, the more likely people are to follow you. And so this is, you know, you get 140 characters when you tweet, you get 160 characters in your bio. And I would say use those 160 characters to really, you know, punch those readers with something fun about you. You know, what is it you're into? What turns you on? What are you here to talk about? What do you want to engage around? It's those things that really make a bio interesting and make you worth following.
Nancy, why do you think it's dumb to protect your tweets?
Well, I sort of feel like if you want to protect information about you in a social space, then put it on Facebook and lock it down. But on Twitter, I think, you know, the whole point of these short bursts of information, these short sort of conversational pieces of information is broader audience. I just think there's more opportunity on Twitter if you take advantage of this huge resource and huge this sort of font of possible connections. So protecting your tweets sort of suggests that you're locking down your content and it's only available to a select few, and heck, call those people on the phone, have a conference call.
Yeah, I
That's
always
all
feel
that
like
you
the
get.
message is, I am not looking for followers. Like, I almost never follow anyone who protects their tweets, because I
Right.
feel like they're saying, I don't want you to listen to me.
Which makes no sense on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost, it's counterintuitive from where I sit.
I was asking earlier if Joan of Arc or Amy Oakley would have Twittered.
I think
Or
so.
Facebook.
And you know why I think so?
Why?
Okay, so I think Joan of Arc would have Twittered because she
She had a message.
she had a message and she had an interest in evangelizing to masses, to
Yeah.
large numbers of people.
Yeah.
And she was trying to get people motivated behind her cause.
Well,